Harnesses can be a lot safer than collars when we walk our dogs, and they do not promote pulling, but some dogs don't like their harnesses. What are some possible reasons that our pets might not want us to put on their harness? The harness might be painful, the harness might predict bad things, the harness might even be made to cause discomfort depending on the type that you have. The way we put it on might be scary, or the harness might be noisy, or it might simply be novelty. So let's look at each one of these. Since a harness is much safer than a collar, some folks allow pulling. But if a dog is pulling on the harness all the time, they might become sore. And so the harness might predict pain. Other dogs might have arthritis or injury. So discuss with a vet what might be the best type of harness to use, or discuss pain management with the vet, and experiment with different types. This Freedom harness is designed for comfort. It even has the velour straps at the armpit. So this might work well for some dogs. But the straps might be too skinny for some dogs. Something wider might work better, like this comfy control harness, or this rough wear range harness. Notice how much extra cloth we have. I tried it on my dogs and I felt like they were hitting the edges of it when they walk. So I'm not sure if it works well for us, but experiment. Might the harness predict bad things? If a dog is nervous out in the environment, then the harness might predict a scary environment. We need to be careful about stopping to talk to strangers if our dogs are a bit leery of strangers, or maybe our dog doesn't want dogs charging up to him or her. And some dogs are just afraid to go outside, and if that's the case, we need to counter condition the environment. And we'll discuss some of that in the description box of this video. And of course, we don't want to use any punishment at all when we're out walking. And some harnesses are made to cause discomfort. And some might not be made to cause discomfort, but they could be uncomfortable for certain dogs. So experiment with different types. Still looking at different reasons why a harness might be uncomfortable. Some of the front clip harnesses have a strap that goes straight across. And when the dog is walking, their shoulders or their legs could be hitting that. It could be very uncomfortable. And if you have a very short dog with a front clip harness on, then the leash is way up here and it's cutting across and pulling up, and that could be uncomfortable for some dogs. And even if it's fitted properly, it could be uncomfortable. But a lot of them, they're not fitted properly and they start draping down here, and then the dogs are limping and walking funny. So be aware of that. I like these harnesses that have two clasps because it means less physical manipulation for the dog. We still have to put it over their heads, but I don't have to lift the leg to get it on. I just put it under their bellies and then clasp both sides. And there are two brand names that I know of where you don't even have to pull it over the head because there's an extra clasp on the side here. The Makudi and the Perfect Fit have those. The step-in harnesses are popular, but some of those might pinch your shoulders. When the dog steps into it, the harness kind of comes up to a V and it clasps here, but this could pinch the shoulders and under the arms, and it might be uncomfortable. So if you're going to use a front clip harness, this Freedom harness might be a better option than some of the ones that go across the chest. This is more of an H style. The Makudi and the Perfect Fit might be good as well. And this Webmaster Range harness might be good. It doesn't have a metal loop here though, so I'm kind of concerned about this cloth loop if a dog pulls too much. And what's nice about the Freedom harness and the Makudi and this is that there's 2 points of contact. You could do one in the front and one in the back, which might be more comfortable for the dog. And we need to look at how we put the harness on. If we're looming over the dog or manipulating the dog's body too much, we might be making the dog uncomfortable. Watch how much physical manipulation and looming is involved when I put this comfy control harness on putting. I'm leaning over her, I'm touching both her feet. And then see, the Makudi hardly needs any physical manipulation at all because of the double clasp in the back and the extra clasp at the neck. But I'm still looming over her. A harness can be noisy because of the clicking sound of the clasps. But of course, the problem with the all the extra clasps is that it's extra noisy. So there's a way to reduce the sound. Instead of just pushing it in and letting it click, because that might scare some dogs, you could use your fingers to soften it, but make sure not to pinch yourself. See, I didn't make a sound because I was squeezing this as I pushed it in. And it might simply be novelty. If the dog is not accustomed to having a harness put on, we might need to acclimate them to it slowly.